Long ago, in the vast grasslands of West Africa, there was a prosperous kingdom called Amara, known for its golden harvests, tranquil rivers, and the most beautiful sunsets anyone could ever witness. The people of Amara lived peacefully under the rule of a wise and kind-hearted king, Ose. His people revered him not just for his wisdom, but also for his deep connection to the earth and the spirits that protected the land. King Ose had only one child, a daughter named Nia, whose beauty was said to rival the brightness of the sun. But beyond her beauty, Nia was known for her sharp intellect and her fierce independence. She was unlike any other royal women, for instead of choosing to sit inside the palace and weave cloths or gossip about the affairs of the court, Nia roamed the fields with the farmers, learned the ways of the animals with the hunters, and studied the secrets of herbs with the village healers. Though many kings and princes from faraway lands sought her hand in marriage, Nia's heart was untouched by any of them. For she had grown up with a dream, one she had kept hidden from the world. Ever since she was a child, she had been having visions of a faceless man by her side, always standing under the tall baobab tree near the village well. His presence in her dreams felt familiar, comforting, and every time she awoke, Nia knew that she would recognize him when they finally met in the waking world. In a neighboring village, not too far from Amara, lived a young man named Kofi. He was no prince, but his humble origins didn't dim his extraordinary character. Kofi was the son of a farmer, but unlike his peers, he had an insatiable curiosity for the world beyond his village. His father had once told him stories of kingdoms with walls made of gold, of rivers that sang at night, and of ancient cities lost in the deserts, filled with treasures untold. Kofi would spend his days helping his father in the fields, but by night he would stare at the stars and dream of adventures far beyond the horizon. But what Kofi loved most was storytelling. His village knew him as the griot, the keeper of tales. He could make people laugh, cry, and reflect deeply with his stories, for he carried within him the legacy of all his ancestors' wisdom. One day, during the annual harvest festival, Kofi's village was invited to Amara to participate in the celebrations. The festival was a time of dance, music, and merriment, and people from all neighboring lands gathered to celebrate the bounty of the earth. Kofi, with his captivating stories, was chosen to perform in front of King Osi and his court. As Kofi began to tell his tale under the great baobab tree, Nia, who had been walking nearby, was drawn to the sound of his voice. She slipped through the crowd unnoticed, but as soon as her eyes fell upon Kofi, she stopped. He was the man from her dreams. For a moment, she couldn't breathe. The connection was immediate, as if the spirits themselves had woven their destinies together long ago. Kofi, in the middle of his story, caught sight of Nia, standing beneath the very tree he had only heard stories about, the sacred baobab of Amara. His heart skipped a beat. Though he didn't know her by name, he felt as though he had known her all his life. After the performance, their eyes met across the sea of festival-goers. Drawn to each other as though by an invisible thread, they found themselves walking together beneath the stars that evening. They talked for hours, sharing stories, dreams, and hopes. By the time the sun rose, Nia knew she had found the man from her visions, and Kofi knew he had found the woman of his heart. Word soon reached King Ose about Nia and Kofi's blossoming connection. Though the king trusted his daughter's judgment, he was protective of her, knowing that she was destined for greatness. He called Kofi to the palace the following day. When Kofi entered the grand hall, King Ose spoke in a voice as steady as a river. "I have heard of you, Kofi, and I know you have captured my daughter's heart. But love is not enough to stand against the trials of life. If you wish to marry Nia, you must prove that you are worthy of her, not just in spirit but in strength, wisdom, and courage." Kofi, without hesitation, bowed and said, "I will do whatever is asked of me, my king." King Ose then set forth 3 challenges. Each would test a different part of Kofi: his physical strength, his wisdom, and his bravery. If Kofi could complete them, he would have the king's blessing to marry Nia. The first trial was a test of strength. King Osei led Kofi to a distant hill where a giant boulder lay. The task was simple. Kofi had to move the boulder from the top of the hill to the bottom using only his hands. Kofi knew this task would be near impossible for any ordinary man, but he remembered a story his father had told him about the strength found in unity. Kofi called upon the villagers from both his and Nia's lands, asking them to join hands and help him. With the combined strength of many, they were able to roll the boulder down the hill, showing the king that true strength lay not in brute force, but in the unity of people. The second trial tested Kofi's wisdom. King Osei presented Kofi with a riddle that had stumped even the wisest elders of the land. "I am not alive, but I can grow. I have no lungs, but I need air. I have no mouth, but water destroys me. What am I?" Kofi thought long and hard, remembering the teachings of his ancestors. And then, like a spark in the night, the answer came to him. "Fire," Kofi answered. And King Osei nodded, impressed by his quick thinking. The final trial was one of courage. Kofi was sent deep into the forest, where it was said that a fearsome leopard guarded the entrance to a sacred cave. Inside the cave, Kofi had to retrieve the feather of the mythical golden eagle, which was said to grant protection to whoever possessed it. Armed with only his wits and a small spear, Kofi ventured into the forest. For days, he tracked the leopard, learning its patterns, understanding its nature. When the moment came, Kofi did not fight the creature but approached it with respect, offering it a piece of meat as a sign of peace. The leopard allowed him to pass unharmed, and Kofi entered the cave, retrieving the golden feather. Upon returning to Amara with the golden feather in hand, Kofi was welcomed as a hero. King Osei embraced him and gave his blessing for Kofi to marry Nia. The entire kingdom celebrated their union, and their love became the stuff of legend. Kofi and Nia's marriage was one not only of love, but of partnership. Together they ruled the land with wisdom and compassion, leading their people through times of prosperity and hardship. Their love story was passed down through generations, a tale of fate, unity, and the unbreakable bond that can form between two souls destined for each other. And so, under the great baobab tree where their journey began, Nia and Kofi lived out their days, side by side, as rulers of a united kingdom and as the greatest love story Amara had ever known. And that's the end of the story. If you enjoy the story, kindly like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. And thanks for watching.